welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning, hella early at 4:45 a.m. here on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, then 4:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. Today we're talking about change. Have mercy. Change and productivity. What is the connection between the concept and the very real reality of change, and how that goes about impacting your productivity at various levels? So thanks for being here. If you are new to the show, you can go to productivethroughjoy.com. Hit that. You can right now. I'm sorry. You can hit the subscribe button and get all these videos for free. I did say free. 1, 2, 3, 4. Free right to your mailbox, right to your inbox. You can also go to productivethroughjoy.com. See about us. We speak to groups, schools, and organizations about being productive through joy. If you also are new, allow me to say a few words about myself before we move forward. This is your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. I'm the author of the New York Times bestseller, Raising Fences, which was a Today Show Book of the Month pick. That book's film rights were optioned by the actor Will Smith, whose people called my people, and I eventually agreed to write the screenplay for that particular project. I am also the author of the acclaimed historical novel Americas, which is set 13 miles from Ferguson, where Michael Brown, of course, was murdered. God bless his spirit, his family. It's crazy. And of course, the conflagration that ensued subsequent to that murder initially ensued there in Ferguson as well. That book interrogates the intersection of race and violence. Americas interrogates the intersection of race and violence in America, which is a thing that we are, of course, going through right now, especially exacerbated under 45. So, I am also the board president of the World Stage, literary and jazz venue here in South Los Angeles. It's an incredible 501c3 nonprofit, 7 days a week of amazing programming. Go to theworldstage.org to learn more about that. If you're ever in LA, you've got to come down to the World Stage. It's a jazz and literature venue, drumming workshops, live performances, poetry workshop. We have our own press. I mean, literally doing it big in the neighborhood. I should say that my educational background is UC Berkeley as an undergraduate, my master's from UCLA, and my PhD in English literature from the University of California at Riverside. I'm currently a professor of English literature at Loyola Marymount University here in Los Angeles. I'm an expert at being productive, right? I don't say that to brag or boast, but people are oftentimes surprised at my level of productivity, given how crazy, my personal narrative is. And it's a little crazier right now for some reason. I am the product of a young girl who was raped at 16, gave birth to me at 17, and subsequently gave me for adoption to a single divorcee. So at the time, no biological father, an amazing single divorcee, but at the time, no biological father, no adopted father. Listen, difficult times for the young MD, yet as Kool Moe Dee famously said, how you like me now? And if I can be this productive through joy, I know many of us can also be as productive, which is why we have the show, why we're inspired by the show, and why we want you to have me come out and speak to your group, school, or organization. You can go to productivethroughjoyagain.com. See about us. We have a really innovative, narrative-based approach where we examine everyone's life tells a story. We examine the story that people's lives have been telling in the past, the story that their life is telling right now, and the story that they'd like their life to tell in an aspirational sense right now. And then how do we get to that space of aspiration? So thanks for being here again. Go to productivethroughjoy.com to see about us. Let's dive into the topic. Today we're talking about change, or whoa. If you know the show at all, I've been speaking about just going through a series of, I'm talking about, you cannot make this stuff up. I'm talking about a series of extraordinary situations, personally, professionally, shocking, and then really on air, so many of the shows are predicated or just, real time negotiating real life, as many of us do, which is why the show I think is powerful, because we are dealing with stuff and my situation is unique to me, but the characteristics of my various challenges certainly can relate to other people, because it's just people going through life, right? And people around them not acting right. So I was sharing that, if you're new to the show, that in my professional and my personal life now, which is pretty crazy, folks around me just not acting right, not being ethical, lying on me like they tired. I mean, really, I mean, and I'm responding a lot of times to responding to black excellence. You know, people, even black people, as an African American, and this at times includes, sadly enough, just the impact of racism on the black spirit. When people respond to you, your excellence, you're doing what you're doing too effectively. You know, it really provokes people. I know that there are people right now watching who know exactly what I'm talking about. So if you don't know, if you don't have that experience yet, you will certainly encounter it eventually. But at times, just by being good at what you do, being excellent, being an excellent father, being an excellent community member, being an excellent just partner, at times, your excellence reminds people what they're not doing. And this is not to elevate me in particular or to brag. It's not that at all. I'm just saying, you know, excellence is what I am personally striving to do and to be, and it's work and it's a struggle and it's a challenge. And but that's really important to me. I have children. I want to demonstrate excellence for them. Um, but in that pursuit of excellence, so without getting into all the details of it, just people not responding well to Michael Datcher's excellence, right? So I've been dealing with this incredible series of situations. So it's created this extraordinary amount of change in my life, right? Change that I was not anticipating, certainly did not want, but now that it's here in a real way. And so, you know, as you go through these things, for folks who've experienced real change in their lives, you know, it's fine to go through the process of like, what is this? Why is this happening to someone like me? It's fine to go through that, which is what I've been doing, no doubt. But then at a certain point, you have to say, okay, now what? You know, what are we going to do? And that's where we find ourselves right now in today's show. So point one is, which again, our topic today is change. Point one is that change is going to happen, right? Change is going to happen. That's point one, right? You have to know that change is natural. We live in a world that is in constant flux. Change is natural, right? Although it can be uncomfortable, it is natural. And so even when the change is initiated by individuals who are unethical or they're not acting right or they're responding to their own insecurities, however the change is initiated, we have to deal with the fact that change is inevitable and actually change is natural. However it's initiated, all right? And so once we get beyond the folks on who the initiator is or why the changes come and accept the fact that change is natural, you want to then, which goes right into point two, you want to learn eventually to not have change come about by crisis, but to initiate the change yourself. That's my great lesson of this situation that I'm finding, situations that I'm finding myself in, is to initiate the change ourselves. Be looking to create the change. That way, change is not hitting you upside the head, pushing you in a direction that you may not want to go in, right? But honestly, even when it does happen in a way that, because that will always happen, probably. People acting improperly, their lives impacting you because we live in an interconnected society. But you want to try to initiate the change yourself as a preemptive move because you know change is going to happen, which goes into point two, which is you want to be the initiator of the change. And then point three, you want to embrace the change, right? You want to, and that's the hardest part, to embrace it, right? That's been my struggle, to embrace the change. And when you embrace the change, you're able to bring it closer. You can see the good. You can see the lessons. You can see how you want to develop and grow. You can also allow other people to see you go through the change, because people who love you, who know you, they're watching you. Of course, you know they're watching how you respond to your particular changes and challenges. You know, and that's how you can also serve people and be of service. And through it all, be of service and be in the love, right? Because in the long run, we're all interconnected. Even when people are not acting right, unethical, and wrong, because it's a universe that's interconnected and literally about love and justice. You know, what is coming to them will come to them. Don't even worry about trying to get back at anyone. You know, things unfold the way things are going to unfold for those types of individuals. I've seen it many times. So, boom, go, the dynamite. Thanks for being here. We'll see you this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.